Talk to us a little bit about what's happening at the national level in flood insurance, and then obviously I know it's your wheelhouse, and then talk to us about what's going on in Florida.
Sure. Well, the National Flood Insurance Program is reauthorized every 5 years by Congress. It's really the primary source for Americans to get insurance coverage against flooding in their homes. And there's about 5 million or so flood insurance policies across the nation. Almost 1.8 million of those are in Florida right now. It used to be more. So Florida makes up a big chunk of the flood insurance program. But 5 years ago, when it was reauthorized, actually 4 years ago, the program has been in some significant debt issues because of storms like Hurricanes Katrina and Superstorm Sandy. And so in order to help make up some of that debt, Congress asked the program to start increasing their rates. And as those rates have increased, we've seen decreasing number of people buy that flood insurance program.
Right.
And so we're starting to see problems with less flood insurance coverage, not only in Florida, but across the nation.
Right.
And then when you have storms like you had just in the last couple of weeks in Louisiana, less people have that insurance coverage, and it's going to be very difficult for those people to recover and for those communities in the state to recover, simply because there's not enough insurance to help make them whole again.
Right, and really that burden falls to the government entities, and typically they're trained for that first response, but not full recuperation.
Yeah, there's going to be lots of people who are left holding the bag. The homeowners are not going to get enough money to help build their homes back and put their lives back together. That's going to put a burden on the charitable organizations that are helping support them. They're going to be strained. The local communities will have a real strain on them because that's lost tax revenue from those homes. Those people are going to have to take off work to try to fix their homes. So it's a very a cyclical process there that's influencing everybody who touches it. And so the less people have flood insurance, the harder it's going to be to get that community back to normal.
So with that theme, and we think about Florida specifically, as our policies are dropping, and obviously we know we carry a lot of our burden on our coast and the insurance, how does that balance affect how you plan for responses when something bad could happen?
Yeah, it doesn't affect the response side as much. We'll be focused on life safety and those kinds of things. It really comes into effect once the water's dried up and people try to get their lives back to normal. In the last 4 years, Florida has lost about 13% of its flood insurance policies. 13% of those folks have dropped their policies. And that's over a time frame in which Florida has increased its population by about 500,000. So 1 in 8 people have chosen to drop or not renew their flood insurance policy. And that means that we're going to be more vulnerable the next time we have a flood in the state of Florida. We're going to have people who simply aren't able to recover. There will be some funds available, either through the FEMA Individual Assistance Program or other programs, but it's not none of those programs are designed to make people whole again.
Right.
And so we will have, we could see communities who really struggle after the next hurricane or flood in the state of Florida. And so I'm really encouraging people to consider their risk and have those flood insurance policies.
Right.
And a lot of it is, we're seeing bigger and greater storms than we have in the past. The 1,000-year storms that you hear about are occurring with greater and greater frequency. So even those people who've not seen a flood before in their home could see one the next time a storm rolls through.